Okay, we're going to learn how to create billboards using the Billboard Nodes plugin in the DAZ store. We're going to need Adobe Photoshop for this too, because we are going to need to create an alpha channel that's going to be used by the Billboard Nodes plugin. Okay, you don't need specifically Photoshop. You can create it with any other image editing software that you have, like PaintShop Pro or any other. So we're gonna start with the scene. I created this scene of a cheerleading couple. So first we're gonna load our scene in DAZ Studio. After we have our scene, we are going to render a PNG file. We want a PNG file because we want to make an alpha channel of that render. Usually I like to render 2048 by 2048. I like to use iRay, and so on environment I use DOM and scene, and I usually leave the draw ground button on because that creates a shadow, and I like to make my billboards with a shadow. You don't have to have a shadow if you don't want to. So next we're gonna render. And once we have our render ready, we're gonna save our PNG file and we are gonna take it into Adobe Photoshop in this case. So the first thing that we do once we have the image in Photoshop is we're gonna go here to select, and we're gonna go to load selection. We say okay, we're gonna go to the channels and we are gonna add the alpha channel with this button here. I like to deselect first, so I click inside the window, then I click on my alpha, and we're gonna go first Control A, that's gonna select the entire image, then we're gonna go Control C. Control C is going to copy the image. Then we're gonna go Control N as in Nancy, and that's gonna create a new document. And then we're gonna go Control V, and that's gonna copy the image, the alpha channel in the new document. Now we're gonna go and say save as, and we're gonna save that alpha as a PNG file. You see that I have it already saved here. So I have the render that I did, my PNG render saved here, and I also have my mask that I did in Photoshop PNG file too, both saved together. Okay, so now that I have my two PNG files, my render and my alpha created in Photoshop, I'm gonna go here back to my scene in DAZ Studio, and we are gonna hit create new billboard node. You're gonna see a tiny square here that the Billboard Node plugin created, and it's called Billboard Node. We are gonna go to the surface settings here, and we're gonna click the billboard. We are gonna go to diffuse color, and we're gonna browse to our render, our 2048 by 2048 render, and you see that we are gonna map it into the billboard square that we just created. And now we need to go to the opacity strength. Click here in the square, browse, and select our alpha. Now, after you have those two mapped, we are gonna go to parameters and we are gonna scale it roughly to the size of those characters that I have on screen. Okay? After I do that, now I can get rid of the 3D geometry on the scene and stay with my Billboard node. Okay? We are not done with the surface tab here. We want to go to the surface settings here and look for glossiness. Glossiness here, and we are going to make glossiness 0. Another setting that we are going to look for is specular strength. Specular strength, we're going to make that 0 too. And the third one that we are going to look for is reflection color. Reflection color, and we want to make that black. Okay? So now we have our billboard ready to save. We're going to save our billboard as a prop so we can reuse it whenever we want to. So we're going to go here to File, Save As, Support Asset, Figure Prop Asset, and we're going to name it. I have it already named here. We're going to name it, I name it Cheering Couple. Save. It's going to ask you for a product name. You can give it any name you want. I'm going to name it Tutorial Cheering Couple and just accept. And you're going to end up in your library props under your name or the name that you gave the other screen. You're gonna end up with your prop, your billboard prop. Okay? So if I want to load another one, I'll just go here, double click, and I'm gonna have a second billboard node. Okay? And I can keep loading billboard nodes of our cheering couple and start playing with it. See? And once you render, let's render. I hope this video helps you to understand how to work with billboard nodes and create your own billboards. One thing that I like to do is I like also to take my image, the one that I've done in Photoshop, I usually take my my shadow and I go and I edit it in both my in both my image. I go edit it here and edit it here too, and it looks even better when you render in DAZ Studio, because it doesn't cut like this. It cuts round and nicely. But those are tricks that you keep learning as you go. So Hope this video helps you understand the Billboard plugin and have a fun time making your own billboards. Bye-bye.